Mike Vrabel out in Tennessee, which means the Titans have to hire a new head coach. Their GM, Ron Carthon, presumably, I need to double check the Titans statement. I mean, I don't think they said anything about this, but I will assume that they're going to let Ron Carthon hire the next head coach. Former director of player personnel with the Niners from 2021 to 2022. Also director of pro personnel for San Francisco from 2017 through 2022. Stands to reason, Breach, that if you're going to pick someone for Ron Carthon to hire, that you should focus on the Kyle Shanahan coaching tree, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think and I wouldn't be surprised if that's how we wanted to build his team.
Frank
He's saying, "Hey,
Smith
look,
bot, Frank Smith bot."
well, he's telling Amy Adams Strunk, look what's going on in San Francisco. Look what's going on in Miami. These guys are building the teams how I want to build it, and that's how you win. And that is not how Vrabel does it. So, yeah, I think that somebody out of the Kyle Shanahan tree makes the most sense. So, I absolutely, Frank Smith has to be in there. I doubt we see them hire a defensive coach just because that was Vrabel, and Carthon clearly not on the same page with that. So I think it will most likely be an offensive guy. And we've mentioned a lot of these guys over the past 24 hours on our Black Monday podcast. Ben Johnson, Bobby Slowick, Todd Monken. Maybe you steal him from the Ravens. There's just a bunch of offensive guys out there, and it feels like that's who the Titans will start looking at. But who knows? Maybe somebody kills an interview and they hire them, but I think it's an offensive guy.
Well, he joined the 49ers. He was with the Rams, and when Sean McVay got hired in 2017, I assume they cleaned house and Les Snead took over.
No, he went out. He left when they cleaned house. He was never with McVay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When Les Snead and Sean McVay came in, he was gone. Right. But that means he joined the Niners with Kyle Shanahan, right? Yes. So if you've got a GM who gets rid of Mike Vrabel and wins a power struggle with Mike Vrabel and is completely rebooting a franchise, you're losing Derrick Henry. I mean, in terms of the Tennessee Titans, was one of the, I don't know if he's probably on the Mount Rushmore. I mean, Eddie George, I don't know.
Isn't it crazy though to pick a first-year GM in a power struggle against one of the best head coaches in the NFL?
It's crazy. I think that speaks to the time spent with ownership, with the owner, and you see this a lot, right? Like Ron Carthon spending more time. He's watching the games with Amy Adams Strunk in that owner's box, and Mike Vrabel's down on the sidelines. I think a lot of times you can see a GM win that power struggle, but I agree, crazy. Hired in January 18, 2023. I mean, he hadn't been there on the job a full year, and he just got Mike Vrabel fired. I think it is a stone cold mortal lock, assuming that the relationships are good. I don't know the answer to that he goes out and hires a Bobby Slowick or a Frank Smith, one of these Kyle Shanahan offensive coordinators, to come in and potentially operate with, you're going to rebuild the offensive line in sort of this. I think he's going to try and rebuild the Titans in a San Francisco style way by bringing in, maybe go out and get some speed at receiver. There's a lot to be done here, right? I mean, when you look at this Tennessee roster, Hopkins likely gone. I mean, I would assume this is a full blown rebuild.
Oh, absolutely. And you don't even know who your quarterback's going to be because did Will Levis do enough to prove anything? Do you give Will Levis another year? Or are you looking to free agency? I mean, this team has so many questions to answer that it's mind blowing. It's not going to be easy.
There's just not.
I mean, you hit the nail on the head, Brinson, when you said this is the second least most attractive job ahead of only the Panthers.
And the only reason it's more attractive than the Panthers job is because you're not saddled with Bryce Young for the next 3 years and you have a first round pick in the top 10. Otherwise, I think Carolina would be a more attractive job. And I mean, it feels like if you're in with the GM, you're in with the ownership right now. Who knows in Carolina? I mean, in terms of young pieces, I mean, there's not a lot on this roster. So, whew. I mean, jeez, man, this is a rebuild.
Total
I mean,
rebuild.
it's like Peter Skoronski, Will Levis, and Jeffrey Simmons. Maybe like
Now,
Roger-
the flip side of that is if you do take this job, I would say this is an upside, is that you are not getting fired after the first year. I think this is one of those jobs where the owner will this isn't taking a job with David Tepper where you could be fired 12 weeks into your first season. If you get hired here, I think you're going to get at least 3 years. I don't think they're going to have high expectations in year one. Whatever you do in year one, expectations will go up a little in year two. And then by year three, they'll say, all right, get us to the playoffs. So I do think that is the upside. There will be no quick trigger and that you will get to be a part of an actual building of a team, which doesn't happen a lot nowadays.
It's pretty wild. So in the Tennessee Titans history, the next coach will be the 6th head coach. I mean, it was Jeff Fisher for over a decade. And then Mike
somebody in the comments said, bring back Jeff Fisher.
Mike Munchak, Ken Wisenhunt, Mike Malarkey, 2 years each, just total train wrecks. I liked Munchak.
Well, you remember Malarkey got fired after winning
a playoff game.
Beating the Chiefs, beating Andy Reid.
Remember Marcus Mariota caught his own touchdown pass.
Yeah.
And then they beat the Chiefs and he got fired. And then Vrabel's been there. Vrabel's 545 winning percentage, second. By the way, 2021 AP Coach of the Year. Vrabel's 545 winning percentage, second to Fisher, 573. Kim Wisenhunt, woof. 1.130 winning percentage. I mean, I think it's as simple as they are going to hire somebody from the 49ers tree. I mean, I guess you could go. Would Steve Wilkes qualify? I think you're right there. I think they go offensive, but
yeah, I mean, he qualified that he's had a front row seat to what Kyle Shanahan's doing, and he could find an offensive coordinator who could run that type of offense. But if that offense is successful, you're going to lose that OC in 1 or 2 seasons, and he's going to be head coach. So
I think if I were guessing, it is if they are willing to take the job, it's either Bobby Slowick or Frank Smith. That's who I would peg for the Titans job. And you're coming in, if they have a good relationship with Ran Carthon, you can come in and you can work with him. You're going to get 3 years to rebuild. You're going to be able to grab guys in the likeness of people that you want in these systems that work. To me, those seem like the obvious answers. Anybody else that we want to mention before we get out of here? Bill Belichick to Tennessee.
I don't think Belichick is going to Tennessee.
I think we can rule out Jim Harbaugh and Bill Belichick for it.
I don't think they're going to make a big splashy hire. This is not the organization that you mentioned their coaches. I mean, name one sexy name on that list. Mike Malarkey.
Mike Vrabel's the sexiest one.
Mike Munchak. Like there's just Jeff Fisher is the ultimate non-sexy name. Sorry, Jeff Fisher. You were a great coach sometimes. Went to a Super Bowl.